Lesson number 126, Surah Yusuf, will begin from ayah number 102. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذلك من أنباء الغيب. That is from the news of the unseen. Meaning, the incidents which have been mentioned about Yusuf alayhi salam, the entire story of Yusuf alayhi salam, that is of the news of the unseen. Meaning, of the past. Such a past that has been hidden from you. That is unknown to you. And directly, who is being addressed in this ayah? The Prophet ﷺ. Remember, at the beginning of the surah we learned that وَإِن كُنْتَ مِن قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. That indeed before, you were of the story of those who were unaware. This story of Yusuf alayhi salam was such an important story from which so many lessons can be learned, but it was unknown to many people. It was only the Ahlul Kitab who knew of it. But the Arabs, especially, they had no idea about the story. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who informed us about the story, and He says that this is of the news of the unseen. Unseen as in the past that is hidden from you. It happened much before you. And there was no way that you could find out about it. How have you come to know of it? نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ. We have done wahi of it to you. We have inspired it to you. Meaning the Prophet ﷺ. And there was no way that you could find out about this yourself. Because وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ. You are not with them. Who? The brothers of Yusuf a.s. When أَجْمَعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ. When they all agreed on a plan. When they all made a joint decision with regards to their affair. What was their affair? As to how to deal with Yusuf a.s. To throw him into the well. Remember earlier there was a discussion. Some said, kill him. Others said, no, don't kill him. Instead, throw him into the well. So, أَجْمَعُوا, ijma', which is when all the people unanimously agree on something. So when they all unanimously agreed that they were going to throw Yusuf a.s. into the well, you were not amongst them. You were never there sitting in that gathering. You were never invited to that meeting. It was only the brothers of Yusuf a.s. وَهُمْ يَمْكُرُونَ. And they were all plotting, meaning plotting against Yusuf a.s. So over here basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing that this news, this story that you have learned is based on revelation. It has come to you from Allah. And because of that, it is factual. Because of that, it is based on reality and it is 100% accurate. And the Prophet ﷺ could not have learnt about it through any means. And remember, I mentioned to you with regards to the revelation of the surah, why it was revealed, that the mushrikeen of Makkah, they had gone to the Yahud of Medina. And they had asked them to tell us something that we should ask this man. And if he answers it, we'll know whether or not he's really a messenger. And what is it that they told them? That ask him about Yusuf. Ask him about Yusuf. So now that this entire story was related, what did that show? The truthfulness of the Prophet ﷺ. And the fact that he could not have found out about the story from anywhere else, what does that show? That indeed, he was a messenger of Allah. وَمَا أَكْثَرُ النَّاسِ. And not are most people. Most of the people, they are not. وَلَوْ حَرَصْتَ. Even if you desire greedily. بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. At all believers. حَرَصْتَ, from the root letters, ha, ra, sad. Hirs. And hirs is to desire something very greedily. To desire something very greedily. So even if you greedily desire, O Prophet ﷺ, for the people to believe, know that most of the people are not going to believe. Because think about it. Just imagine yourself at that time, in that situation. The mushrikeen of Makkah ask about Yusuf a.s. thinking that he won't be able to say anything. And the Prophet ﷺ tells them the entire story, which is so descriptive, so detailed. There are so many lessons, so relevant to the people of Makkah, and yet the people don't believe. Just imagine, Still the people don't believe. They don't accept it. They don't believe in him. So the Prophet ﷺ is being comforted over here that no matter how much you desire Iman for them, most of the people, they're not going to believe. Why? Because of their stubbornness. Because they don't like the Ahsan al-Qasas, because they don't like the Quran, they don't like you. This is why no matter how much you prove to them, they're not going to believe, they're not going to accept. And why is it that they don't accept? What reason do they have for their denial? وَمَا تَسْأَلُهُمْ, and you do not ask them, عَلَيْهِ, upon it, meaning upon conveying this message. مِنْ أَجْرٍ, any kind of reward. You're not demanding from them any kind of recompense for delivering this message to them. Then why is it that they don't believe? What's the difficulty? What's the reason? There is no genuine reason. In huwa, it is not. Meaning, this message is not illa except dhikrun, a reminder for who? لِلْعَالَمِينَ, for the people of the worlds. So, in other words, why is it difficult for these people to accept Iman? You're not demanding anything from them in return. You're just calling them to good, seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. And the fact that the Prophet ﷺ did not demand anything in return, what does that show? His sincerity, his well-wishing. Because imagine if a person is selling something to you, and in return he's taking some monetary benefit, you wonder if his intentions are sincere. But the fact that the Prophet ﷺ did not demand anything in return, what did that demonstrate? His sincerity, his well-wishing. وَكَأَيٍّ, and how many, مِنْ آيَةٍ, are signs, فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, in the heavens and the earth. There are so many signs. How many a sign there are within the heavens and the earth. And these signs, يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا, they pass over it, وَهُمْ عَنْهَا, while they are from it, مُعْرِضُونَ, ones who turn away. يَمُرُّونَ is from the root letters, mim, ra, ra. Marra, يَمُرُّ, which means to pass by, to walk. So they pass by all of these signs that are in the heavens and the earth. Meaning they witness them. They see them. Day in and day out. No matter where they go, they can see some ayah in the earth, some ayah in the sky. But still, what is their behavior towards these signs? وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ, they turn away from them. Meaning they completely disregard them. They don't reflect on them. They don't take any lesson from them. Why is this mentioned over here all of a sudden? Because the mushrikeen of Makkah, they're being invited to believe. They're being invited to believe. That why is it that they're not believing? Are you demanding some ajr from them? Is it that you have not answered their questions? And besides that, don't they open up their eyes? Shouldn't they be looking around? Look up, look down, look around you. Many, many signs are there. What is it that is preventing you from believing? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed various signs in the heavens and the earth which makes it easier for a person to believe. And on top of that, Allah has also sent a messenger who does not only show and explain the truth to them, but he also proves it to them. And still, if a person does not believe, then is there a problem with the truth or with the person? With the person. وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ, and he does not believe. Who? أَكْثَرُهُمْ, most of them. Most of them, most people do not believe billahi, in Allah. Most people do not believe in Allah illa, except wahum, while they mushrikun, ones who associate partners. Meaning, the majority of the people who believe in Allah, who believe in God, they also associate partners with Allah. In other words, there are very, very few people who are upon Tawheed, whose belief is based on the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very, very few people. Otherwise, the majority of the people who do believe in Allah, what is their belief? Adulterated with? With shirk. If you look at it, there are many people who don't believe in Allah, who completely deny His existence, especially these days. Perhaps at that time, there were still very few of those people. But amongst those people who also believe in Allah, majority of them, what do? They do shirk with Him. Like for example, if you look at Christians, they believe in Allah, but still they do shirk with Him. Similarly, the Yahud, they also did shirk with Him. In all of the religions, there is this concept of this one supreme God. Even if they do believe in many idols or many beings, there is still this concept of one creator who created everything alone. Some kind of belief with regards to Him. But at the same time, there is also a lot of idolatry. There's still a lot of polytheism. And this was especially true in the case of the mushrikeen of Mecca. That they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time, they also associated partners with Him. Like for example, when they would do tawaf, they would say labbaik, they would say the talbiyah, but even their talbiyah, it had words of shirk in it. La sharika lak illa huwa lak. You have no partner except the one that you possess. Tamlikuhu wa ma malak. You own it, you possess it. So yes, they believed in Allah, but at the same time, they also associated partners with Allah. Now there are many people who may not worship idols, who may not believe in other beings who have some divine attributes, but they commit another type of shirk. And what is that shirk? The minor shirk, which is riya, showing off. Many people, they do believe in Allah, but at the same time they do shirk. Majority of the people, they commit major shirk. But many people, they also commit minor shirk. So what's the lesson in this for us? That all our acts of worship should be for who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exclusively. Because when a person performs his good deeds for other than Allah, then this would fall in the category of shirk. And if you look at it, this lesson can be learned from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. He was a person who believed in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it shows through his actions. How? That no matter where he was, whether he was at home, whether he was living as a slave, or he was in the prison, or he had a very high position in the government, still we see that he is submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone in every situation. The fear of other people does not make him disobey Allah. This is why he said, Rabbi sijnu ahabbu ilayya. The prison is more beloved to me. Because I cannot obey anyone else above you. I cannot give preference to anyone else above you. Similarly, when he was made the leader, when he had been given such a high position in the Egyptian government, what was his dua? Rabbi qad ataytani, you gave me, no one else gave me. Wa allamtani, you taught me. This is what tawheed is. That in every situation, a person remembers Allah, a person fears Allah, a person has positive thoughts about Allah, he is hopeful of Allah, he believes that relief will come. This is what tawheed is. And he doesn't do anything good for the sake of people. He does it for the sake of Allah exclusively. Afa aminu. Then do they feel secure? Do, fa, then, aminu, they feel secure. Meaning the people who do shirk with Allah, the people who refuse to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, what is it that makes them so daring? What is it that makes them so fearless? Afa aminu, do they feel secure? Don't they get worried? Don't they get scared? That antatiyahum, that it might come to them, it will come to them, ghashiyatun, an overwhelming punishment. Ghashiyatun is from the root letters ghain, sheen, ya. From the word ghashiya. And what does ghashiya mean? To cover something. Ghashiya, yaghsha. And the word ghishawa is also from the same root, which is a covering. And ghashiyah, this is ism fa'il. Ghashiyah, fa'ila. So what does ghashiyah mean? Ghashiyah is that which covers something, that which envelops something, that which encompasses something. It covers something from top. So what is ghashiyah? A calamity that completely envelops them. Min adhabillahi, from the punishment of Allah. Do they feel secure? that a ghashiyah from the punishment of Allah might come upon them? How can they feel secure that something from above can come and completely cover them? Completely. Like for example, imagine waves of water coming from the sea, from the ocean, and then covering people from above, washing everything along with them. غَاشِيَةٌ مِّنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ. Or تَأْتِيَهُمُ السَّاعَةُ. Or it comes to them. What comes to them? The last hour, meaning the day of judgment. How? بَغْتَةً, suddenly. And remember sa'a, yes, it does refer to the day of judgment, but remember that مَن مَاتَ فَقَدْ قَامَتْ قِيَامَتَهُ. The one who dies, then his qiyamah has also been established as well. So, أَوْ تَأْتِيَهُمُ السَّاعَةُ بَغْتَةً, yes, it refers to the coming of the day of judgment, but from this it can also be inferred that suddenly death comes to them. Death comes to them suddenly. وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, and they do not perceive at all. They do not perceive what? Of its time of arrival beforehand. So in this ayah is a severe warning that with what confidence, with what security are these people not believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are they associating partners with Allah? Are they showing off? Are they not doing things exclusively for the sake of Allah? With what confidence are they disobeying Allah? Do they not fear that a ghashiyah could come to them from above? A ghashiyah of the punishment of Allah could come from them from above, burying them, drowning them, covering them up, so that they cannot escape at all? Because just imagine, if a calamity comes from just beneath your feet, then what can you do? You can run towards the side. But imagine if something covers you from the top. Recently you may have seen pictures in which the water waves, as they're coming in the tsunami into the villages of Japan. You may have seen how the water has just come and covered the airports, covered the streets, covered the buildings, and it's washing away the buildings along with them. When you see those pictures, for a moment we should think about it, that what if I am in this situation? What if this happens? Were they warned at all? Were they given a 1-hour warning, a 15-minute warning even, that this is what's going to happen? They had no idea. وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They had no idea. And when a person does not have any idea, what can he do to protect himself? He can do nothing. If he tries to drive, if he tries to run, how much can he run? The water is much faster than him. It's much more powerful than him. He cannot escape. You may have heard of stories in which people, they had certain plans in a situation of disaster, they could escape easily. Like for example, people had certain yachts or boats that were ready from before, planes that were ready from before, but as the water came, it destroyed their boats, and at the same time it also carried their planes away. How could they escape? There was no way of escape. Now this is just a glimpse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us. And we need to remember that if we disobey Allah, how can we ever feel secure from His punishment? Ever. Because anything can happen within seconds, within moments, without any warning. And we cannot protect ourselves. We cannot defend ourselves. We learned earlier in Surah Al-A'raf as well, that do the people feel secure? أَفَأَمِنَ أَهْلُ الْقُرَى? Do the people of the cities, do the people of the towns, do they feel secure that the punishment of Allah might come upon them? قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. Say that this is my way. Meaning, O Prophet ﷺ, tell the people that this is my way. What is my way? The way that I am calling you to, which is the way of Tawheed. Because in the previous ayah, what is being negated? Shirk is being negated. So, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. This is my way, the way of Tawheed. أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. I invite to Allah. My mission, my way, my sabil is what? Calling people to Allah. Calling people to the worship of Allah alone. My mission is to connect people with who? With their Lord. And this is the mission of the Da'i. When he calls people, he is not calling people to himself. That they should respect him, that they should adore him, that they should obey him. No, this is not his mission. What is his mission? That people should become humble and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ad'u ila Allah. That people should worship Allah. ala basiratin, upon insight. Meaning, when I am calling people to Allah, I am doing this on the basis of basira. Whatever I am doing, it is based on what? Basira. And what is basira? Insight. Proof. Evidence. Understanding. Comprehension. Because basara, what does it mean? To see. When you have some evidence, then you can see things clearly. When you have some evidence, then you can understand. So basira is what? Evidence as well as understanding, comprehension, insight. So I am calling people to Allah based on basira. Meaning, I'm not just calling people just because it seems to be, the in thing. Everybody's, attending lectures, everybody's attending classes, everybody's doing da'wah. So it's just the in thing these days, therefore I'm doing it as well. No. If a da'i is calling people just because everybody's doing the same thing, then he is going to lack motivation. He is going to lack conviction. When a person is calling people to Allah, then he must do so on basira. He must be confident about it himself. He must have understood it himself. And in the case of the Prophet ﷺ, he wasn't just a da'i because before him Ibrahim a.s. was, because before him Musa a.s. was, Isa a.s. was, because Adam a.s. was. No. He was doing it because he had been given basira. He had been given evidence. He had been given understanding. And this is what motivated him. This is what drove him. This is what gave him the confidence. Because when a person is doubtful himself, then how can he make the other people believe? If a person is just imitating others, then how can he have stability in what he's doing? So I am calling people to Allah upon basira. Ana, I, وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي, and the one who followed me. Meaning myself and anyone who follows me, anyone who believes in me, meaning anyone who believes in the Prophet ﷺ, they are to call people to Allah based on what? Basira. Evidence. And that evidence, where do they get it from? From the Quran, from the revelation. And that understanding, that comprehension as well, where do they get it from? From the Quran. Ana وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ, and glorified is Allah. وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and I am not of those who do shirk. So what is the deen of Islam? What is the straight path? What is sabili? قُلْ هَذِهِ sabili. The way of tawheed. And the way of calling people to Allah. أَدْعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. According to some, أَدْعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. This is sabili. That my way is of calling people to Allah, inviting people to Allah. And this was the way of all of the messengers. All of the messengers called people to Allah. That recognize the one who created you. Recognize Him and worship Him. Recognize Him and submit to Him. And this is done based on what? Ala basiratin, with insight. It's not blind following. That just because Musa a.s. did this, this is why I'm going to do this as well. No. Ala basira, with proofs, with conviction, with certainty, sure knowledge, understanding. And this shows to us that a person who is calling people to Allah should not do his work in fulfillment of some customary practices, just following the tradition, just doing what is in. Because many times people will go attend classes, why? Everybody's doing that. People will go to a conference, why? Everybody's doing that. People will go sign up to volunteer somewhere, why? Everybody's doing that. We just do many things in imitation. But this is not the way of calling people to Allah. You cannot do this in just imitating people. You have to have the drive from inside. And what is that? Basira. And how does a person get it? When a person studies the Quran himself. When a person gains understanding of the religion of Allah. And when he gains understanding, only then he can pass it on to other people. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا, and we have not sent, مِنْ قَبْلِكَ, before you, إِلَّا, except, رِجَالًا, men. Rijal is a plural of rajul. That before you, O Prophet ﷺ, we only sent rijalan, men. Meaning we only sent messengers who were rijal. What does it mean by rijal? Rijal is a plural of rajul. And rajul is used for a man. Man not as in human being, but man as in male. Okay? Which shows to us that all of the messengers who were sent, who were they? Men, not women. Why? Why do you think so? Is this bias against women? That women are not capable at all, therefore they cannot carry out the work? As a messenger, there are many responsibilities upon a person, so do you think women are incapable of fulfilling them? The task of conveying the message to people is so difficult. It is so difficult that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved women from this responsibility. And in it is protection of the women. And this is actually kindness towards women. Because this task is a 24/7 job. It demands you all the time, round the clock. For example, the Prophet ﷺ, all of the time, he was engaged in what? Doing da'wah. Nuh alayhi, what did we learn about him? That he called the people during the night and during the day. Right? And he called the people in different ways. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose men. Why? Because this work is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. You have to bear a lot of hardship. The messengers were stoned. They were repulsed. They were rejected. They were physically abused. And as we learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi, just imagine, a person is taken from the house of his father to a well, sold as a slave, and then into the prison. This is extremely difficult. And secondly, illa rijalan, this also indicates that they were only human beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always sent human beings as messengers. Not angels, not jinn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent who? Human beings as messengers. As messengers to who? Other human beings. And in the case of the Prophet ﷺ, he was also messenger to who? To the jinn. And these messengers, nuhi ilayhim, we did wahi to them. We inspired to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did wahi to them. Min ahli al-qura, from the people of the towns. Al-qura is a plural of qarya. Meaning these men were from the people of the towns. What does this show? First of all, it shows that the messengers who were sent to the people, they were from their own people. They were from their own nations. Min ahl al-qura. Which is why we see that all of the messengers, what did they say to the people? That, Ya qawmi, O my people. Similarly, the Prophet ﷺ as well, he was min anfusihim. He was from among themselves. He was one of them. He was of the Meccans. He was of the Arabs. He spoke their same language. So min ahl al-qura, the messengers were from the same nation to whom they were sent to. Secondly, this also emphasizes that the messengers were sent to the people of the main towns. And this is al-qura, meaning qarya. This is the opposite of badu. Remember, Yusuf a.s. said to his father that وَجَاءَكُمْ مِنَ الْبَدْوِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought you from the desert. Where? To Egypt, which is a qarya. Right? So the messengers were sent to main towns, major towns. Why? Because from there, the message would spread more rapidly. Which is why we see that the Prophet ﷺ as well, he was from the city of Mecca, not At-Ta'if, not Medina. Where was he sent? Where was he from? From Mecca. Similarly, Yusuf a.s. was a messenger. He was going to be given prophethood when he was in Canaan. But Canaan was a village. It was a village, underdeveloped. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought him out of there and took him where? All the way to Egypt. Min ahli al-qura. Why? Because if the message spreads over there, then from there it will spread everywhere. Because people from all over the area, where do they come? To the main central towns. And when they will come there, they will learn from there. And when they will go back home, the message will spread. So you understand why this has been said, min Ahl al-Qura? First of all, to emphasize that they were also human beings. They were one of them. An angel was not sent to them. A jinn was not sent to them. Someone from amongst themselves was raised as a messenger. And secondly, the messenger was sent to where? Ahl al-Qura, the people of the major towns, so that the message would spread more rapidly. And also it has been said that min Ahl al-Qura, because the people over there, in the main towns, they're more knowledgeable compared to the people of the desert. So this is why Yusuf a.s. was taken from Canaan all the way to Egypt. أَفَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا, then have they not traveled, فِي الْأَرْضِ, in the earth, فَيَنْظُرُوا, so they look, كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, how was the end of those people before them? Meaning the people before them, who, when their messengers came to them and they did not believe, what was their end? Their end was complete destruction, complete annihilation. And we saw this in the previous instance that we have learned in Surah Al-A'raf and also Surah Hud, Surah Yunus, that all of the nations to which the messengers were sent, when the people did not believe, what was their end? They were finished. So the mushrikeen of Makkah are being warned over here that with what confidence are you disbelieving? وَلَدَارُ الْآخِرَةِ, and surely the home of the hereafter, it is خَيْرٌ, it is much better. For who? لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا, for those people who adopt taqwa. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, then do you not understand? Why is this being mentioned over here? That the home of the hereafter is much better for those who have taqwa. Because what is it that prevents a person from believing, from accepting? It's the love of this dunya. But what does Allah say? That what's in the hereafter is much better. It's much better. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, don't you use your mind, don't you use your reason and give preference to that?